Hi everyone, we are back with full face videos. I am so excited to film these, but today's full face is going to be of Pacifica. The two places that I know that you can purchase Pacifica from are from obviously the website, that doesn't count, but Ulta and Target. They are more of an affordable brand. I think in terms of like drugstore though, they do lean a little bit more pricier than typical drugstore items, but not as expensive as like really high-end items. They are also cruelty-free and 100% vegan, and they do consider themselves to be a clean beauty brand. I have all of my Pacifica beauty products ready to go, along with beauty and like cosmetics. They also do skincare, hair care, they do sun care, they have nail polish. Pacifica does it all really, and you don't have to compromise, you know, the cute packaging. Their packaging is so cute. I'm going to go ahead and get started into today's look, and I'll talk a little bit more about the brand and my thoughts just throughout this whole video. For my foundation today, I have the Pacifica Alight Clean Foundation. It is oil-free, anti-shine, and has a satin finish. It has a little bit under an ounce, which is not typical. Usually foundations and even tinted moisturizers come with a full 1 ounce, so that's just something to note. It's really not that big of a deal. The shade I'm going to be wearing today is Neutral Medium 26 NM. The only thing I have on my skin right now is just, you know, some serum and moisturizer. I don't have any primer on. Pacifica does have quite a few primers, and I think that they all are like skin benefiting primers, but I just don't use primer enough. But yeah, they do have quite a few different primers for different targeted things. I think that this shade match is okay. It is a little smidge light overall, but I think that it matches and ends up looking totally fine, especially with all my other makeup on. And it does have a pretty decent coverage. I would say it's probably like a medium full buildable. So you could totally build it up and get more coverage if you wanted. I think that it is nice that this is a more medium full coverage foundation, just because like I've been saying, like it's a little bit harder to find these clean beauty products that kind of meet the needs of everyone, especially when you get into shade range as well, which Pacifica doesn't have the best shade range. And I do think that if you want access to the full shade range, you probably do have to go to their website to get it. But it's definitely not horrible, especially when compared to other brands out there. And other brands that are trying to do the same, vegan, cruelty-free, clean. So that was less than 1 pump. I do have quite a bit of product left on the back of my hand, which at this point, I probably would just put, you know, a little bit more on my chin, a little bit more on my under eyes, and then skip concealer, because I think the coverage of this is really nice. But I am going to be applying concealer today because I do have the Pacifica Liquid Cover Full Coverage Lasting Concealer. The two shades that I have are 14 NM and then I have 12 NM. So that is the 14 NM and then that is the 12 NM. It's interesting because these both are supposed to be a neutral concealer. However, you can tell that the 12 definitely has a bit more peachiness to it. And then the 14, I think, leans a little bit more warm. I definitely feel that I could get a darker shade in the concealer, but I think, you know, during different times of the year, it's not that big of a deal. And it's not like a horrible shade match, it's just a little bit light for me. One thing that I also enjoy about Pacifica is the packaging. The packaging on all of their products is super cute, really artistic and colorful, and that's just something that I feel sometimes we lack when it comes to clean beauty. One brand that comes to mind that you can also get at like an Ulta or a Target is Well People, and although their products are pretty decent, they also are cruelty-free and vegan. You just kind of don't get like the beautiful, cute, enjoyable products like, you know, Pacifica over here. How cute is this like little lip balm, you know what I mean? And of course this has more to do with like the experience of using your products. You know, packaging isn't going to like make your foundation work any better. And if you're looking into having more clean beauty products in your collection, I think it's sad when we have to like compromise on the other things that are so cute and enjoyable about beauty. One thing that I do want to mention is that neither the foundation or the concealer have a scent to them, which is really nice, but that is not true for all of their products, so that is something to keep in mind. They do use fragrance in some of their products, but I'm not sure if they're using like essential oils or like naturally derived fragrances. I just know that some of their makeup is, you know, fragranted. I think that the skin looks really, really nice. I love how this applied, and I really like how it applied with my sponge. It does apply really nicely with a brush as well. I just kind of alternate between the two all the time. For today's powder, I'm using the Pacifica Crystal Rays Luminous Translucent Setting Powder. The reviews for this one convinced me on a product that I typically wouldn't purchase, although I do really love my translucent crystal light reflecting setting powder from NARS. I love this product, but this is not really similar to that product at all. I would almost go as far to say that this is a funky looking highlight. I am going to apply a little bit of it today just so you guys can see and just so I can do like a proper full face, but I'm not a fan of the powder right here. I'm taking a little bit, I'm trying to get like it into the brush and get, you know, excess off, and I'm just going to lightly press my under eyes with it to set my under eyes, obviously. Okay, when I do a light amount of this, it's not that bad. I think that sometimes you can like easily go overboard with this powder and you will look like, you'll look frosted. I'm taking a little bit more on like my fluffier brush and I'm going to apply it throughout my face. I wonder if I take a little bit and like apply it here, if you guys would be able to notice. I took a little bit on the back of my hand. Not sure if you'll be able to see like the shimmers throughout it, but it does kind of have like a little bit of like pinky purple like frost. I feel sometimes it like might look a little blue, and I don't like anything about that. Looking at my skin right now, I honestly think it looks totally fine, and I definitely tried my best to not go overboard with this powder. But if you ever like find yourself going overboard with this powder, it will really not look good. It can easily make my under eyes not only look crusty, but then shimmery. Like it's really bizarre. And the reason why I picked up this powder was because the reviews were so glowing. But yeah, I just don't really like this powder too much. I definitely don't think I'll be using it much at all after I film this full face. Next, I'm going to apply a little bit of bronzer. I have the Sun Dreams Bronzer Duo, and this is a product that does have a scent to it. It smells cute, it smells a little beachy. We can blame Physicians Formula for making brands think we want fragrance in our bronzers. But yeah, I really like how this applies. I think it's, you know, nice and smooth. I think the color is great. Just using my e.l.f. feathering highlighting brush, and I'm just applying it where I would usually apply bronzer. I do think that depending on how you apply this bronzer though, I could see how it might be like patchy, or if you're not using a nice fluffy brush like this, I could almost see it going on really splotchy. So that's why I like using these kind of fluffy brushes for mainly all the bronzers that I use. But obviously some bronzers are like smoother and easier to apply than others, but this brush does a really great job at applying this Pacifica Bronzer Duo. So that's all the bronzer that I'm going to be applying right now. I might apply a little bit later, but I think that this is fine. And now I'm going in with the Glow Baby highlighter on the other side of it and taking it on a highlighting brush. I do think that these probably would look super beautiful all swirled together, but yeah, I'm just applying a little bit of the highlight on my cheekbone, bringing it up to my brows for a little bit of brow highlight, down my nose. I like this highlighter. I'm not a huge highlighter person anymore, but I do think that this one is nice and it goes on pretty smoothly. I'm using the Pacifica Highest Def Hemp Fiber Brow Set, and I have the shade 4 Medium. And this is the only brow product that I have from Pacifica, so I'm just going to comb it through my brows and get out, you know, some of the color, like especially right here, get it to kind of shade my brows in where those sparse areas are. I actually really like this brow gel. I'm excited to keep track of like the hold throughout the day. I definitely am doing a wear test today. I even think the shade on this is really great. It's not leaning like too red at all. It's not leaning too black. It's really a nice brown brunette brow shade, and like my brow looks great. I think that looks awesome. And yeah, I also never notice any like flaking, which is a huge thing for me. I hate it when brow products flake on me. I do also notice that this is definitely a bit of a more drier formula, so I am kind of curious to see how like a tube of this lasts, like how actually nice it is when you start getting towards the end. I would be a little bit worried that it would maybe like, you know, end up being a little bit too dry towards the end, but I do like that it's a little bit of a drier formula. When brow gels are too liquidy, it's really hard to control them, and you just don't get a brow like these, you know? So yeah, I really am a big fan of the brow gel. I think it's great. I did not need a brow pencil to like fill in anywhere. I think that these brows look awesome. I do not have a Pacifica eye primer, and this is the only non-Pacifica product that I'm using, but I have to use an eye primer. It is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. You guys already knew, I'm sure. So honestly, a palette like this, like the bronzer duo, I totally would use as like, you know, crease shade, lid shade, and that would be an eye look. But I do have two eyeshadow palettes from Pacifica. The first one are the hemp infused eyeshadows, and it's in Cosmic Reflect, like that's the palette name, Cosmic Reflect. And it looks like that. I bought it because it was a little bit more colorful than their other palettes, but they do have a good variety of colored eyeshadows. And then the other eyeshadow palette that I have from Pacifica, which you guys actually saw me use recently if you watched the Ariana Grande wedding makeup look that I recreated. It is their Pink Nudes Mineral Eyeshadows, and it is a full matte eyeshadow palette. And the reason why I picked this palette up after I picked this one up is because the hemp infused eyeshadow palette, it doesn't have really a lot of mattes to pick from. It has like this really nude neutral matte, and then this orange matte, and then a green matte, and that's it. I didn't really feel like I could create all of the looks that I wanted with just this palette, so that's why I picked up the all matte one, which I actually really like. I loved how my eyeshadow look came out in the Ariana Grande video, and I've used this on and off for the couple weeks that I've had it, and it's really nice. What I'm going to do first is I'm taking my Pink Nudes palette and I'm dipping into Touched and Roused. I'm mixing these shades together, and I basically start all of my looks doing this. It's just all the same thing. Just start by getting it on the outer corner and fluffing it, blending it into the crease. These shadows are nice. They are not the best eyeshadows that I've ever tried, but I totally see myself continuing to use this all matte palette. I love all matte palettes, and this is a great one from the drugstore. The shadows do go on really smoothly and blend out really nicely, and as you can see, like, you know, they look really good, so no real complaints here with the mattes, I will say. I do have a couple of complaints with the shimmers, but in the other palette. I'm going to take Madly Deeply, and I'm taking it on a little pencil smudger brush, and I'm lining my upper lash line with it, just kind of roughly lining it. Other eyeshadows that Pacifica has that I forgot to share with you guys, and I'll just swatch them on my hands before we move on, but they are the Twinkle Paints. I have one in Pink Moon, and I have the other one in Baby Stars. But I honestly don't wear them because on the actual eyelid, they look really frosty, which is, you know, not a big deal if you are lighter or you like that look. But on me personally, I don't really love frosty looking eyeshadows on my eyelid. I might grow into them, but yeah, I just don't love them. They just both would end up looking really silvery on me. But that is Pink Moon and that is Baby Stars. Baby Stars definitely would end up looking better. But aside from these just not being great shades for me, they crease horribly, even with a primer. So I don't love using those. If I'm gonna pull out a cream or a liquid eyeshadow, I really want you to stay in put, especially when there are other cream and liquid shadows that do stay in put. But I am just going to stick with the powder eyeshadows today, and I am going to use that Chocolate High shade. I really think that that's so beautiful. I can already see it happening with this Chocolate High shade, and it's the issue that I have with these shimmers in this palette. As soon as I feel like I'm trying to take the color out of the pan, it starts getting that oily film on top of it, which I guess you can kind of work around a little bit, but it's really hard. It's really hard to make eyeshadows work that are kind of doing that, especially shimmers, because they're just not really going to look as beautiful and intense on your eyelids as in the pan. I'm just having to like really dig my brush into this eyeshadow to get color. I also probably shouldn't have used that huge brush for all over my eyelid. Yeah, and it even happens with my finger. Like if I'm swirling my finger in there, it just creates that oily film on top that does get hard. I'm sure that you guys can like picture what I'm talking about. Super common in powdered foundations just to get that like film on top. Since my look is a little bit deeper, I'm going in with Madly Deeply on my small eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to apply some in the crease and pull it throughout the crease. Yeah, that's great. I do definitely think that if you wanted the hemp infused eyeshadows, you would need to pull matte shades from another palette. So I do think that the two eyeshadow palettes that I have from Pacifica, they work really well together. I just don't really think at the end of the day I would recommend the Cosmic Reflect eyeshadow palette, just because I'm just not a huge fan of these shimmers. And I wish I was, but I'm just not a huge fan. I just don't think that they just don't perform as well as I would really like them to. I'm going to mix Nude and I'm going to mix Moonstruck, so these two shades. And I'm mixing these because I do want to, I don't know what the right word is, but just kind of blend over top of my crease shade that I put down over here. And that's just gonna soften up that line, also bring the shadow down a little bit so I can have more room on my actual brow bone. From the Cosmic Reflect palette, I'm taking this shade called Dusty. This shade is definitely one of the softer shimmers in the palette, but when worn kind of all over the lid on its own, it shows up quite sheer. So I kind of wanted to see how it would look layered on top of the Chocolate High shade to kind of give the look a little bit of dimension. Ooh, I like that. For my inner corner, I'm going to take this pinky shade. I just stuck my nail into it. It's called Looking Glass, and you can't really see it too well on camera, but yeah, I'm taking a little bit of this pinky shade and I'm focusing it on the inner corner. I love pinks and browns together. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm taking a little bit more of the setting powder and I'm just going to lightly dust any fallout that went on. I do think I got like a little bit of shimmer fallout. I'm just dusting that away, making sure my under eyes are smooth. I'm actually going to apply a little bit of lip balm right now in preparation for my gloss, but this is the Color Quench Lip Tint in Guava Berry. And this is a great little lip balm. Throw it in your bag, gives you a little bit of color. For my lashes, I am going to curl them. I am not a huge fan of either of the mascaras that I have from Pacifica, but I'm I'm going to be using them. The first one that I got from Pacifica is the Dream Big, and a lot of you guys recommended this one to me when I asked you guys what you would recommend in terms of like a Pacifica mascara, because they were going on sale and I knew that I wanted to do this look. A lot of you guys recommended this one, and it does change wand shape, like it's getting shorter, and I'll make it go bigger. So it does change the shape of the wand if you're like into something like that. But this mascara was really not working for me. I was not liking it. So I went ahead and picked up their newer mascara. This is the Vegan Collagen Fluffy Lash. And I like this one a little bit better, but neither are my favorite. And I'm not a huge fan of the wand of this. This looks like a spoolie that you can get in like a pack of 200. It doesn't look like anything special, and I honestly don't think it applies the mascara really that great. I'm saying this as it's applying the mascara beautifully right now. But in my opinion, you know, every single time I've put this mascara on, I've not been thrilled with the way that my lashes look. It's giving me separation, it's giving me fluff, it's not giving me length, and it's not giving me volume. Giving me a little bit of volume, but it's just really not my favorite. I'm going to take a little bit of my Dream Big mascara because I think this mascara does give me length, and layering multiple mascaras is nothing new, so I'm going to be doing both today to hopefully achieve my desired lashes. Does anyone else have an eye that their lashes just like go a different direction? This eye, they just go straight up and like really nice. This eye, I feel like the lashes always lean to the left. Next is blush, always a real essential part of a look, and I really love this shade of the Pacifica blush that I have. It's in the shade Wild Rose. It's really pretty, really natural. It has a nice like satin shimmer throughout it, and yeah, it's just really nice. I actually thought I had the other blush shade that Pacifica has in, I think it's Carmela or Camilla. Actually, I don't think it's Carmela. And yeah, I thought for the longest time that that was the shade that I had in this blush, but it was actually Wild Rose. And I'm just using my Real Techniques blush brush to apply it. Although the pan is really small, so I'm actually taking a little bit of a smaller brush so I can, ooh, that was a bit much. I am super duper loving this look. I love the skin. I definitely think though, with the combination of the highlight and the blush being a little bit shimmery, I think it's a little bit too much shimmer on my cheeks, and I think that if you had texture on your cheeks, you would find yourself not really liking the way that that looked. So the last makeup product that I'm going to be applying today from Pacifica is the Enlightened Gloss Nourishing Mineral Lip Shine. And this is in Beach Kiss. It looks like this, and it's not really gonna look like anything too much on my lips, but I actually think it will look so good with everything else that I have on my face today. And it's a really comfortable gloss. It doesn't have any like stinging or plumping to it. This is what the final look looks like, and I adore it. I think the eyeshadow is so cute. I love the skin. I'm really excited to share with you guys how this makeup wears throughout the day. The only setting spray that I have from Pacifica is their Set and Protect Matte Sheer Setting Mist. It has vitamin C and C minerals, and it has an SPF protection of 45. So upon hearing all of these claims, I was like, oh wow, I think I would really love to have this product in my life. So I picked it up, and I am not a fan of it. I do not like how it sits on the skin. I don't like how it feels, and it makes my eyeshadows crease so bad, even with my Urban Decay Primer Potion. But I'm actually gonna cover one side of my face and spray the setting spray on only one side. I'm doing my right side so we can see what it does to my makeup throughout the day. Yes, we'll do like this. I was gonna say maybe I take it back how it feels. I guess, I don't know. I feel like it definitely feels like something on my skin, but that's not like totally abnormal for, you know, sunscreen setting spray. I do feel like the Coola makeup setting sunscreen spray does have like a feel to it, but that definitely dies down. I feel like the feel of the Pacifica one kind of lingers. On the other side, since I don't have like a real regular setting spray from Pacifica, I'm going to take one from Milani, which I don't believe Milani's vegan. Maybe some of their products are, but I do know Milani is cruelty free and also from the drugstore. But the time right now is 8:45. I am going to do a wear test. I don't know when I'll pop back in, but I do plan on like working out today, doing stuff in the garden. So I'm gonna keep busy and we'll see how this makeup holds up. It's like 1:15, so it's been about 4 hours, maybe a little bit more. And I think everything really looks so good. Even my brows are like exactly, like I haven't touched my brows and they are exactly like standing up the way that they were from the beginning. So that brow product is just seriously awesome. But my skin is pretty oily, even though it's only been 4 hours. But I probably would have preferred to maybe set my skin with a different powder. So I think with a different powder, you could definitely get a different outcome. And then maybe if you used like a matte primer or something underneath of this foundation, that would work really well. Of course, if you are oily and this is a concern of yours. The lip product, I was not expecting to stay on at all, but that's, you know, no big deal. But my cheek products are really nice and intense still, so I like that a lot. And then as far as my eyeshadow, everything looks really, really good. Even the side where I sprayed my sunscreen setting spray, it still looks really, really good, even though I've been nervous that it's just going to crumble on me, but it honestly looks fine. I'm not really sure I'm seeing a difference in my oil on either side. I think that they're both pretty oily. However, I do notice a significant difference in the creasing that I'm experiencing. So I'll just relax my face and then you can see I'm not really getting any. And then this side, I'm having like a little bit more creasing here. And then even around my nose. Under eyes I think are about the same. But other than that, and even with me being oily, I love how everything is looking and sitting on my face. Hi everyone, I'm back, but this time in my office with the lights on and everything. So since it's 10, I've had this makeup on for over 13 hours now. I feel like the lights are not picking up on how oily I am, although I do look like really oily on camera. I just think I look like way more oily in real life. With that being said, I do feel like I still have overall a lot of coverage on my skin. I am noticing on my chin that some of the makeup has rubbed off, but I did end up going grocery shopping today and I wore a mask at the grocery store and I don't have any mask imprints, which is surprising, also considering I was shopping in the middle of the day where I had already been oily after that first check-in. My eyebrows still look amazing, definitely like 10 out of 10 on the Pacifica brow product, the highest def hemp fiber brow set, 10 out of 10. Like they're still, my brows are still up, they're still in place, and it's been 13 hours. My cheek products did stay in place, however, my cheeks look just so oily, I think because like all of the cheek products I was using were glowy and I ended up being oily from the foundation. I don't think that this is anti-shine. However, I love how this looked initially and I do like how it wore. I think that with a better setting powder and a better setting spray and maybe even a matte primer, like this would be an amazing, amazing foundation. However, I don't want to officially issue the Set and Protect spray an apology, but I feel like both sides of my face are so oily that this didn't contribute to like any more oil. I do think that the makeup on this side creased just a little bit more, but I did not get the horrible, horrible creasing on my eyeshadow like I have in the past with this spray. I'm kind of wondering if it has to do with the fact that I used Pacifica eyeshadows on my eyelid, but I'm kind of doubtful that that's the reason why it didn't crease. But I went back in and read the reviews for this setting spray and a lot of people felt the same way and they just said that their makeup like completely melted off. I did not have that today, but I have experienced that in the past with like other makeup products but you know, maybe it is because it was a full face of Pacifica. Everything was just, you know, working with the spray really well. Yeah, even my lashes are looking pretty good. They're still really nice and curled, and I didn't get any flaking throughout the day. I think that the majority of the Pacifica products are definitely worth checking out. Let me know if there were any products in this video that really caught your attention, or any products that you were interested in before but now not interested in. I would love to discuss in the comments down below. But that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know how you guys felt about this full face. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.